All right. So, a very good afternoon and good evening to all our participants that have joined with us today. I'm Noel Amit, your host for today's interesting session. It gives me great pleasure to inform all those who have joined the session for the very first time that Monster APAC and Middle East is now founded. So, for a lot of people who do not know, we've undergone a rebranding change. So, Foundit is a platform that curates the paths to possibilities for you to find exactly what you seek and be able to say, well, found it. We want to be your enabled and trusted partner to enable and connect the right talent with the right opportunities through a data-driven approach that offers personalized and customized journeys for job seekers and recruiters alike. Well, even before we begin with, let me also show you a few glimpses of our on-site events. It was a great way to participate in the HR Tech MENA Summit on 1st and 2nd March in Dubai. We also met some of our customers in our on-site events in Singapore and Malaysia. Well, these are some of the pictures that I'm actually wanting to see you guys as well. Well, we had a great time. But then let's come back to RecRoute. Well, RecRoute is an initiative by Foundit, formerly Monster APAC and ME, to connect CEOs, CHROs, and leaders in the HR and talent acquisition space with HR and TA professionals through a series of webinar sessions. Well, with that, welcome to Foundit RecRoute session number 17, where World Economic Forum estimates that by 2025, 50% of our employees will need reskilling as adoption of technology increases. Well, is your organization ready for the big shift? How are you ensuring that your workforce is future ready? To talk more on this topic, well, we have with us Divya, Head Learning and Development, Billion Careers Pvt Limited, a Quess Corp organization as well. Well, Divya, it's such a pleasure to have you again. Divya Kapoor is an avid researcher, enthusiastic and also results-driven leader currently spearheading digital initiative for Billion Careers Pvt Limited, a Quess Corp Company, India's leading business services provider. Divya is at the forefront of learning and development, L&D, and has successfully established the online learning arm at Quess. She has impacted millions of lives by providing them the GPS of learning, and upskilling does help them in achieving their dreams. Divya has a rich experience in learning, design, revenue, and growth for workers in blue collar, gray collar, and the white collar jobs as well. She has an excellent understanding of the workforce and what it takes to keep them engaged, motivated, and fulfilled. She has expertise in creating and implementing strategic design plans impacting brand image for varied products, services, catering to diverse segments. Author of Love Has Its Various Ways and Her Wisdom, Divya likes to call herself as an unshakable optimist. Well, Divya, welcome again. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Noel. That was a beautiful introduction. And hi, everyone. I promise you for a power-packed session. We are going to go through a lot of things today. And why upskilling, reskilling, these are the terms you must be hearing over, I think it started during Corona, and it's going to be endless, I believe, because this is not going anywhere. So let's start this, and we'll keep the session proactive. We would be running polls. We would expect you to answer so that it's a two-way communication, not just one way. Let's start it. Noel, can you launch the first poll?
Absolutely. I'm all set to launch our first poll for today. And I'm sure the participants should also be able to see the poll. Guys, I'd request all of you to please, go ahead and participate in this poll, which will give us an idea in being able to understand which industry are you from to be able to cater to our needs and requirements and help you with the broader perspective. So I can see that most of you have started taking the poll. But please do remember that we'll be closing the poll in the next 7 seconds. So please hurry up and do take the poll. All right, another 4 seconds, and we call it 3, 2, 1. All right. So I'll hold it for another 2 seconds, and yes. So With your permission, Divya, may I go ahead and share the results as well?
Sure.
Perfect. All right. So this is how the results look like. And we have predominantly people from IT, banking, manufacturing, energy, oil, gas, petroleum, education, e-commerce, and construction all over. Absolutely.
Perfect. Okay, guys. Hi, everyone. Once again, people from different industry. Let's just set the ball rolling now. I'm going to quickly share the screen. And yes. Okay. So we are talking about building a future-ready workforce. I want to set the context. This is for two people. One, for the HR folks. How can we do it? How can we achieve it? And secondly, if you want to do it for yourself, how do you do it? What's the way to it? So it's not going to be all preaching. It's also going to be how to execute in your daily lives. So as Noel started, okay, so it is said by 2025, it is projected that up to 85 million jobs could be displaced by a shift in the division. As we all know, we are on the disruption of technology, which is AI and ML. And as it enhances and as it grows, we are going to be replaceable, right? Which means we need more reskilling and upskilling. This emphasizes that the desperate need for it is now, not tomorrow. And this has been overly emphasized during the Corona times. People, I remember we have people in education also who have joined in today. There were teachers who did not know how to use Zoom and take classes online. Corona taught us even that, right? So it's an opportunity to grow. I would say don't be bogged down by that. But how can organizations bridge these gaps efficiently and attune their workforce to ever-evolving business needs? That's the question I'm going to address today, and that's what you're going to take home. Let's move forward. So what is upskilling? Okay, we have a definition here, and I'm sure every one of you have an idea about it. Upskilling is nothing but when you want to, when you are adding additional skills to enhance your worker performance, but with your current role which you are in, right? Before we start this, I would want you to rethink, which all roles have become replaced by now. And you can put it like in the chat, just to explain it again. I mean to say, if you have seen in the last 5 years, roles which have been replaced by the technology, which were before for which people were hired. How many roles can you think of? So the chat is open. Please feel free to write. Okay, someone has said receptionist, Deepthi. Okay. Customer service chatbots. Yes, we are advancing. Assistants, teachers, data processing replaced by ChatGPT. So true. Legal documentation, reports. What else? Data analysis. We have Excel to do it. Do you remember before there used to be a Munshi who used to create a tally sheet, he used to do all the cash flow statement. Now it has been definitely replaced by an MIS, or you can say an Excel expert. Content writing, greatly. We have ChatGPT for that. What else? Okay, I think people are still thinking. So if you actually see this, just trace yourself back 5 years, you will see there are ample amount of roles which have been replaced. So you don't really need to wait for 2025. It's going to be more disruption, more replacements. But that's nothing to be scared. That is just telling us if you upskill and if you reskill, you are in the demand in the market, right? So I just wanted to sensitize it before we go ahead so that you understand. And I want to launch another poll so that I can, which would be the other one, which I'm starting now for everyone, which is upskilling. And so it is, do you believe upskilling helps in growth and getting a promotion? And we'll keep this poll on for at least a minute so that all of you can respond. Yes, some people have also written travel agents has been replaced. That's so true. We just go to make my trip and do it. So I'm going to end the poll in say 5 seconds. And I'm going to end it now, and I can just share the results for everyone. Okay. So if you can all see, 100% almost, like just 1% people, 99% believe that we can. Right. So if you believe, now I'm going to show you the path, how to do that. Let's just go back to the presentation again. So upskilling is, let's say you're in a job of an HR or you're in a job of a tech person. You start learning, let's say you are a programming person, right? So you understood that there is a need of Python now. You start learning Python. Before you were an expert in Java or C++, which is called upskilling. You are still in the same role, but you start learning more things. Or let's say I'm an L&D person, but I'm more on the e-learning side. So now I get to know in the market, L&D analytics is becoming a burning job. So I learn analytics and now I'm more available. So all of those people who believe 99% believe that, upskilling helps in growth and promotion. It's very true, because tomorrow when that role is becoming upbeat and people need those people, they will hire you, because you not only are bringing other kind of experience on the plate, but you're also adding more value to the team. Okay. So moving forward, and I will ask you to park all your questions in one side. We'll address it in 15 minutes in the last end, okay? Now, what is reskilling? So people generally get confused. That's why I've kept it differently. So reskilling is when you employee involves learning new skills outside the workers. Example, you are into a technical back-end person. Let's say you're an audit guy or you're a tech guy, but now you have understood that, you need more soft skills. These skills are often adjacent to your current function. It could be you need a promotion, you need to be at a managerial level. So for managerial level, what you have is not helping. It's not contributing to the role you're going to be, because you're going to have a team. And when you have team, you have conflicts. When you have team, you need to have leadership skills. Where does that come from? Now that comes from soft skills. So reskilling is you start adding more buckets and adding more closer functions to your list so that you become more relevant in your workplace. Right. So if there are 5 people who are supposed to be promoted, you are also supposed to be promoted for the same reason. Right. Now you are adding one more bucket, giving your company one more chance to look at you differently, because you are the one with a different skill set. There are 5 people, let's say of BTech, but they are not expert in team building, conflict management, negotiation, and everything. But you are certified, or you have built those skills in you. When you are interviewed, you will be the one at par than the others. That's where reskilling helps you. Okay. Why should you upskill and reskill? It's a long matter which I've just posted because it's from a survey, right? So it's keeping it very simple, right? So it says, when employers, so I would rather like to contribute this more to the HR folks, are building, they want to build a very strong work culture. Why? Because your cost of attrition is double the cost of what you're hiring. And then when you are posting jobs, a lot of the hiring and attrition involves a lot of cost, right? So to avoid that, you build across good work culture. How do you build a good work culture? Is knowing your employees' strengths and weaknesses. Now, we have understood what is upskilling and reskilling. Now, for the HR folks, it's important to understand, how would you tell your employees what to upskill and what to reskill? How would you build a culture in your company for that? Any takers for that? Please put it in the chat. So I'll repeat. How would you establish a good work culture in your organization, A? And B, how would you tell which are the courses extremely important for their employees to take? Will it be one bill that fits all? Okay, someone has said. Democratic management style, okay. Please differentiate between upskill and reskill, both symbols and kindly cite as an example, okay. Anyone else? Democratic management style. Okay, please repeat the question. I'm saying, if you are an HR folk, how would you foster a good work culture in a way where you can recommend your employees a good program for upskilling and reskilling? Algorithm management, people management skills. Okay, anything else? All right. So I'll just better communication. Okay. All right. So, okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for writing in, showing better career prospects for forward with time. Great. Great. All of you have responded perfectly fine. So what I want to add towards it is there's no one bill will fit all, right? So you need to know all your employees, whether it's 5 lakh, 6 lakh, 1 lakh, 1,000, 10,000, whatever the strength. You need to know their competencies first to recommend something. Right. So here it says number one marker of exceptional workplace is to create a work culture, which is 31% more likely to recommend their employers to job seekers. For example, if I leave my company tomorrow and I still recommend on Glassdoor that people should work at this company, which means HR did a fantastic job. But the thing is, L&D is the key for internal mobility. On average, companies who excel at promoting internal mobility keep employees almost twice as long as a company whose L&D efforts fall short. Here comes your answer. If I build an assessment and if I run an assessment for everyone with competencies, which can include core skills, psychometrics, soft skills for reskilling, upskilling, I would know which all my employees are falling weak in which bucket. And as someone said that within algorithm, I can refer them these amount of programs to follow in a year so that there is a career path defined, because you can't give, you can't recommend courses to your employees without telling them what's the career path. They can't be just, because there's already 9 hours of work. This should not be sounding like work. It should be fun. Learning has to be fun. And also when it's with a career path, there is already an objective set in the mind. Now, how do you do this properly? So it comes with, I'll go with this. Identify areas and skills that matters the most, which I already said. Have clear objectives and goals. Include skilling in employee development plans and encourage transfer of learning. And for hands-on assignment, I would say, please break the glass ceiling in a capacity that give your employees some breaks, something fun, so that they want to be into learning, rather than just adding more things to it, right? Keep tabs on employees' progress and increase motivation using awards or rewards. If someone is doing some learning, I think there's something in the chat. Yeah, if someone is doing some kind of learning, they have an intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. If you say you take this program, you'll be promoted next year, you will finish it today, isn't it? Right? But that doesn't happen. You have to build on your skill set. But it's a value of motivation. Now, second, you can give them a coupon, food coupon, movie coupon, whatever. So your career pathing has to be well defined for your people. Now, someone had said that they're confused with upskill and reskill. I'll just redo it for you guys. Upskill is when I'm in the same role, but I'm adding more kind of skills which adds to this role. Reskill is I'm learning new other skills which can open new divisions for me. I hope that's clear now. Okay. Okay. All right. So for my HR folks, for the people who want to put this, I would say, please make these 7 points as a bookmark. As if you lose goals and objectives, people feel lost in the system too. Now, going back to why the importance is, we minimize on the cost in time. If we upskill our current employees, right? As people already mentioned in the chat that there is chat GPT, then travel agents have been replaced. A lot of things have been replaced. Only few careers are still going the way they used to be. Then you already have an employee pool inside, which can take up the new jobs. They don't need to be replaced, right? You're saving on a lot of costs and employees are saving on a lot of energy on that. helps curtail turnover cost, improves performance, because if I am focusing on set of employees to consistently improve, they are going to perform better. Help develop self-awareness in the capacity that you know which are your weak areas and how to perform better now. And all in all, your efficiency improves. Now, when you have to reskill, you direct efforts on most significant skills. Now, when I said that, let's say I have employees in content, or let's say I have employees as engineers or any rank, right? Any profile. Now, my market has changed and my managers have demanded these new skills people. So rather than hiring outside, I would like to create programs for my current people who have the minimum skills and can be reskilled. So you direct them for the most significant skills because they save a lot of cost and hunting for me. And my current employees become more valuable in the industry. Then find employees with portable skills, encourage more participation, help explore training abilities, and track the success metrics. If the success metric algorithm is set, you know that your employees will be a success, isn't it? So that's extremely important. Now, I have few more things to add. We'll take another poll and then I'll go ahead with that. So I'm launching this poll. Please take this up. Do you think recruiting becomes a little easier and faster when you have access to a pre-assessed talent pool? Yeah, I'll go back to the previous slide after I take this poll. All right, I'll end this poll in 5 seconds and then we can share the results. Another 2 seconds to go and then I'll stop. Okay, perfect. I'm going to end it now. And I'm going to share the results. So the question was pretty simple, and your 95% people think yes and 5% think no. I'm really intrigued to know, why do you think no? Because for people who think yes, I agree with you. If you have a pre-assessed talent pool, you already know your 10, I think some around 70% of your work is done because you have a very close understanding of what skills you require, and that talent has been already tested, isn't it? So people who said no, if you could answer in the chat, how? Why do you think it's of no use or it doesn't help? Because we can all learn from each other here. Okay, this is the last slide as someone requested. I'm just putting it again. So by the time for the poll, my idea was that when we have a pre-assessed tool, let's say, it's called assessment. So there are a lot of assessment kind of things that are available in the market by different companies. So whether you're hiring or you want to reskill, upskill your employees, it gives you a complete data analysis. You can do of 100 people, 200, and it gives you a mean, median, mode, or tell you people's strength and weakness. That gives you a very important insight into people on understanding what needs to be rebuilt, right? Or what needs to be just added, what kind of programs, what kind of strategy is going to work or not to work. So that's extremely important. Please do a very thorough analysis, TNA, TNI, or a survey or an assessment of your people, because that's where I would say the magic happens. It is not a problem if your whole workforce is disrupted in, let's say, English and communication, or stress handling is a mess, anything and everything. You just know what to fix, right? But to fix, we need to know the problem. And the problem can only come when the algorithm is right. So let's say what people are saying. Maybe skill not up to mark. Is there a particular domain where we can do our upskilling? So we don't really recommend a lot of upskilling domains, but upskilling domain are there a lot of domains out there. We also have different apps. Quess has its own apps for that, like Q Jobs, BCPL, and where you can actually plug in and you, let's say, around 30 micro learning courses, which you can just absorb and consume. So different things you will learn there. Okay, now I just wanted to focus one more time on one thing. Yes. Also, I feel when people have upskilled and reskilled, I think that IJP should be open for everyone, which is internal job posting or positioning. When you know that you have a talent pool which is being reskilled and upskilled, and you get a, let's say, 6 months report or a year report, because we have a lot of work. It's not easy to have a monthly or 2 months report. So you already know that you have brought some candidate from 6 months below average to above average or average, whatever was your goal and objective. Then I think that IGP should become open to them. So that way your workers also feel a culture of sharing, a culture of growth, and you are also able to contribute to the organization by contributing less to the attrition. Right. So your upskill and reskill becomes a boon when you have a correct success metrics, when you are mapping it right, when you're doing it as a regular exercise, and you think your role. A lot of people individually nowadays speak, think that I don't need to upskill, I don't need to reskill. I am paid so well for what I have learned. I'm coming from the best well-known master's school or graduate school, so I'm irreplaceable. Just want to shake you a bit and say that's not possible. You can go ahead and open surveys by McKinsey, by Goldman Sachs, which will tell you that by 2025 50% of your workforce would be replaceable. You will have 10,000 new jobs opening, or even way more coming up. 85 million, I think, was the number which I read about. And robots would be taking over. AI ML will build tools in a way where you will become redundant. It's just trying to tell you all these signs that you really need to upskill, reskill, right? So that's first is an acceptance of the change. Second is people are asking, where can we upskill? Where can we reskill? There are a lot of platforms out there for learning and development. I've already given you a couple of examples. So the idea is first to accept. Second is to find which is the most relevant skill closest to your role. Or something which can add. Let's say I said that, if I do a CIPD programs, you might not know what is it. It's a learning and development related. I might get a hike of, let's say, 35% to 40%, which is pretty good. But it's also an investment of money I need to do. But it is coming with an ROI. So all your upskill and reskill has an ROI. But you need to think through what kind of a role is in demand. And that comes from research. This is I'm talking to people who want to do it individually themselves, right? The more you'll research, the more you'll read these surveys, the more you will say, okay, which is going to be more demanding role in coming 5 years, let's say in IT industry or in IT also, in going in a very specific role, how learning and development is going to change, how HR is going to change. You will find ample answers and amount of courses also. Just a suggestion. Please take up a course which is more clicking with you, which is easily consumable, which has a good certification value. Now, now for the HR folks, I just want to state this again, this screen. HR folks, I think right now we're in the era where a lot of people are being laid off and everyone looks up to HR and be like, why can't you do the right hiring? Why can't you have a plan for us? So I just want to say, when you have a plan for upskilling, reskilling, you can also go back to your management and say that, this how you have been able to use your employees in different places. So we can avoid layoffs differently. You can build better career pathing. You can give them better objectives. So anything which is happening for people is not happening out of the blue. Correct. And I think anyone who is able to build a culture where every 6 months, they have a success metrics of employees crossing skills, they don't want to leave your organization. And as an HR, it's a success. As an L&D force, it's a success if your people recommend you on a Glassdoor saying you would like to stick here easily 5 to 6 years. Because they are so focused on your learning. They're so focused on your growth. They're so focused because you are not alone in the system. And I guess all employees want to feel that valued and essential in any kind of company, that, HR takes care of us well. So it's more important that HR is also very skilled, which means being hired, and understand it in a mathematical fashion, that it's 2 + 2 4, it cannot be 5. So the algorithm has to be mapped, and that actions has to be taken. So I would open the forum now for more questions. I guess that's would be all from my side. How can you upskill, reskill, the importance, the ways, why it is important, how can you cut on the cost, how it's going to help your organization, how you're going to be, the most known company for their work culture. Noel, can we start?
All right. Yes. Thank you, Divya. Let me also put up the screen so that we can also have the questions being asked. All right, guys. So it's the most awaited time of the segment. It's the question and answers. And if you could just drop in your questions on the chat box, we'd love to answer that as well. And we take it further. I don't see there are any questions at the moment, but then we've already started to receive questions. So is there any particular domain where we can do our upskilling is the first question. I don't know if that's answered though. People are also asking more about reskill. Yeah.
I already answered the reskill. Sure. And for domains, I think we have, can you tell more about reskill? So again, I'll take the same example. When you're reskilling, you're trying to see which kind of skill can just add to your role, or you want to, if a lot of people change their jobs too, and they completely take a transfer from, like, say, for myself personally, I took a switch from being an educator, building curriculums, to complete L&D. So that kind of shift is also a reskill, but it is also contributing to a very close area of what you work.
Absolutely. I guess it's very brilliantly explained as well, Divya. I guess those examples quite helped our participants too. And SAP success factors, roles in HR careers. Any opinion on that, Divya, at the moment?
Sorry,
what in the chat box. So it's related to SAP success factors, roles in the HR careers.
So I don't know what you mean by SAP exactly. I'm kind of a little clueless here, but roles in the HR career, I think when there are different ways. If you are recommending it to algorithm setting, or you are talking about success metrics, you can set your own. You can follow a particular set of thematic, which places like Metal, Mercer, Aspire, a lot of people do for assessments, and build your own.
All right, wonderful. There's another question where, that asks, can there be a different approach in motivating employees of, different age groups, or to reskill or upskill? Age is definitely a factor, right? We'd like to agree on. Any thoughts on that?
Definitely. It's said that when you're in the age group till 25, what gives you satisfaction or motivation is generally going to gym. Right, it releases a dopamine, right? So maybe giving them free gym membership would be helpful, or giving them a pool center, anything regarding games which let them release the dopamine. After 25 and plus, it says more money making. So cover coupons where they can make more money, or free coupons to earn something, like where they can spend Amazon coupon or anything which you think would help. Right. So you can go by that logic too in different leadership, right? Because that is where your dopamine is being released and you feel more satisfied.
Yes, truly, totally agree with that, and totally reminds me that I need to hit the gym as well in the evening.
But I don't think, Noel, you're 25. Anyhow.
Thanks, Divya. Well, I'll take that as a motivation though, and we'll move on to the next question as well.
Yeah.
So, are there any areas that you'd like to recommend for a product owner to strengthen as such?
For a product owner, I think what new product can disrupt the market would be best. So, which is thinking on the innovation and creativity. Which means you're brainstorming to understand maybe you can help a different function to function better.
Yes, absolutely.
And also adding more soft skills to your bucket, because that's always an edge wherever you stand.
And I guess that's the best combination, the blended combination that anyone would look forward for. So some participants are also asking, how is HR analytics as a career as such?
I think it's pretty good. There's also career L&D analytics, because when you are preaching HR, it's just preaching. But when you're talking about analytics, people take you more seriously because you're data driven. So if the analytics is what you want to take up, it's going to be pretty good.
Wonderful. So Divya, next question would be, how and what program would that be to improve attitude? Anything that you'd like to recommend as such?
So I don't know what people are building about it, but there is something called attitude and behavior, right? You must have heard about quotes like your attitude decides your altitude, but attitude and behavior, which means you have the right attitude, whether it's towards your work, towards your life, or behavior, which just makes you stand a little better. I'll give you a very small example. You have met some 1,000, 2,000 people in your life, but how many people have impacted? One or two. And if someone asks you, do you remember your certain teacher, or do you remember XYZ, you will just take a name of, my once upon a time, this boss impacted my life on this. They were pretty skilled in attitude and behavior because they impacted. So that's what should be the driving value of that program.
Wonderful. Very nicely illustrated there as well, Divya. So, what would be the upskilling suggestion for any leadership role that someone might want to look at?
I think in leadership role, conflict management and negotiation is what we require the most. When we are hiring for a position, people want to ask n number of money, right? And they just want to, so you got to be good at negotiation, either for approval of the budget or with the employees, or and conflicts is which keeps as we grow in the position, we have more members in the team, and conflict and crisis management plus change management, I would say. Adaptability, I think it's called the 3 A's: adaptability, adaptability, attitude, and altitude, which 3 things you should be mastering.
Well, that goes into my personal notes as well, and I'll probably use that somewhere. Thank you, Divya, for that. So, Divya, I understand that, reskilling and upskilling is equally important. So, do you think there's a start line, when it comes to reskilling and upskilling in an organization that, someone needs to abide by?
I think that start lines is set by the HRs.
Okay.
Is they should be able to see, okay, let's say we have L1, L2, L3, L4, I've just some 4 levels of employees.
Right. True that.
Right. So for 4 level of employees, all setup of programs would be different because the need of the job is different. So that's where reskilling would be for the people at, I would say, more than L4, because you are saying, I want to develop now extra things because I already mastered this. And now I need extra skills to be more relevant. But people at the lower ones would be just upskilling more and more. Right. So that is where it starts. And HR people start with a competency mapping. For example, when I say competency mapping, I give you an assessment, right? And my assessment is trying to drive how good are you with psychometrics, which could be just telling me about your personality, stress handling, behavior, or attitude. How good are you, let's say if I'm hiring you for sales. And then third would be how good are you in English and communication, which is extremely relevant. Now I get to know you are some 50-50 in English and communication, sales is your 90, and psychometrics is your 50 again. So now when I know that you are not able to handle stress, influence, or personality, plus this, then I need to give you courses like that. So now that's where algorithm helps. when you set that kind of assessment in the system, because that gives you a complete report of a person to person.
Right.
Or if this is not possible in an organization, it's a small organization, they can go level by level. This level requires these kind of learning and development, which will result to this. Because if employees know what's the goal and objective, they would do it willingly. If they don't, they'll just skip it.
Perfect. And, I'm sure that, this was revisited, but then could be summarizing again. There's a question saying, could you please let me know what are the areas for an HR for upskilling as such?
For HR, for upskilling could be for upskilling, you can take up more of leadership programs, which would mean that how to deal with people, how to connect with people, how to do rapport building. Also, you can take up more communication program. And then you have, what else you have in soft skills? Yeah, at the top of my mind, I can think of these two.
Sure. So, Divya, in addition to that, for a product-related organization, one has to stick to, tech as the legacy. So it may not give exciting learning opportunities to the tech team, but it becomes, quite monotonous sometimes or boring sometimes. So any suggestion to keep that interesting?
Yes, I said in one of my slides that gives hands-on assignment. Now that assignment can be taking I'm not saying it's very easy for an HR to do this, but how about doing once in 6 months, taking them out for 1 day and making them do activity hands-on. Or if you want to teach them team building or a leadership, bring in a trainer, let them do the tug of war or something like that. That the fun which the whole body is involved into would be remembered more than just, giving them an online learning.
Yes.
The COVID is over, right? Let's do that. Come back to that.
Absolutely. I know this would be a very difficult question. I'm sure the participants would like to rephrase that. So any particular relevant career in the HR that keeps consistently help you grow in the career as such?
So L&D is also part of HR technically, and I feel, this is my observation, learning is going to be something which is going to stay for long now. Before, it was not very considered, but now everyone knows that this is something LinkedIn is investing. Every other company is investing into it, whether it's blue collar, recommending to blue collar, gray collar, white collars, because they've understood. Then under HR, trainers is also one of the field which people can pick up because they are required everywhere, whether it's soft skills, English, communication, sales, or anything. And recruitment doesn't end. Right. So you can always take up being that recruitment procurement person always.
It's always, in the phases and always starts off like an adventure. So it's never ending to that. So are there any areas, roles that you're looking at, which are in real danger of becoming extinct and, in dire need of reskilling or upskilling as such?
I think education, kind of, though everyone says it's not going anywhere, but it has changed a lot. Right, people have pushed into canned courses. I remember I used to be an assistant professor in one of the universities where I kept saying we need to build online programs and stuff. They kept saying no, that's not required. Then COVID hit. They had to build canned courses. So education is going to take more phases. I think Byju's or different companies have already shown which are ways to build it. So it's going to keep changing. So I don't think it's going to become extinct, but it's going to change to a level where maybe teachers are less required.
Absolutely. And I guess the ecosystem also totally depends on how you are.
Because if every exam becomes automated, right? If there is more MCQs, there is a whole LMS doing it, then people are not required to do the checking.
Right. So any, important additional skill that any HR that needs to add in their profile that can be a value addition as such?
I think being great, right, good at communication, good at email writing, content writing, because and also rapport building. Because if you can connect with people, that's your work first. Second, being empathetic.
Yes.
If you can't understand your people well, then you're failing as an HR too, which happens in most of the companies.
Absolutely. Brilliant there. So, are there any programs that, needs to be outsourced from external generic service providers as such, or, should the HR come up with customized programs as per the company's needs and requirements?
Yes, you should be HR should be coming up with customized program, A. And then the other thing is, there are two approaches. Not every company can afford building a L&D team inside and build content left, right, center. But if you have that money, please build it. If you don't have that money, you can always take a third-party content, which you feel is the best, and do a partnership. Right. And you identify which are the areas, which kind of content is required, and do that partnership. I think it's a good, happy marriage.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. So in addition to that, how beneficial would, upskilling and in writing or in HR and communication, I'm sure that you've reiterated on those liners as well, but anything in particular that you need to look at?
How benefit is the upskilling in writing in HR and communication? You come across different people from different fields. In writing, it's just that, when you write emails, more crisper, more professional people also take you professionally strongly. But if your emails are written with bad bad English, I would say, or incorrect or grammatical errors, then people don't. Right. So that is one. Second is, if you what else it says, writing, that's I think majorly, or if you, that's all I can think about. And in communication, people think English is communication. Just want to break that. English is a language. Communication is how we are communicating right now with each other. So when you understand the basics, how do you communicate, rather than just opening a book and calling 7 C's? Not really. It's definitely, I'm talking to you, and what you are understanding is you're giving me back. So if you understand your communication in general, day-to-day life is being failed, you're not able to achieve what you went out for, then you learn that. That's what I mean when you take up such programs. They are functional in nature, not theoretical.
Absolutely. So, there's also a comment to that, where they feel that teachers at PG levels can become redundant, but you cannot, do away with basic school and basic degree level. So do you also find agreement to those kind of statements as well?
Teachers are becoming redundant. I don't think so. I feel the education system is becoming a little redundant. That's why people are shifting to a better way. But I would just say that even companies like Upgrad, Byju's, and everyone, they're all the people who are writing the content are teachers. Right? There is a content team, but there's also a teacher helping them who's called a subject matter expert.
Right.
Your degrees are very much valid. It's just how do you reskill and upskill and become more relevant in the market. Right.
So do you think that, Chat GPT also writes best emails these days?
They have replaced a lot of content writers. Yeah.
Right.
They do. That's why people use it. It's, I think, wonderful how it functions. It's almost, ChatGPT is kind of becoming like, I think, Excel, which, replace the Munshi. I was just saying.
Right, absolutely. Couldn't agree more at all. I just wanted to ask our participants if they have any more questions, before we let Divya go as well. I know that we have a lot of time on hand. In case you guys have any questions, I'll just open the chat box for another minute or two, and then maybe we can. So anything that you'd like to reiterate as such, Divya, on,
There's a question.
Yeah, perfect. So would you like to join mobile programming as okay? All right. We try to, let that question go. I'm probably censoring that up. So we'll probably take that offline, my friend, whoever that was. So, yeah. So anything that you'd like to, reiterate?
Yeah, I would like to reiterate a couple of things.
Sure.
People who think upskilling and reskilling is not required, please, the time is now. I think that's what we are trying to say. Secondly, HR folks who think communication is just, writing emails, writing content, that's you're trying to achieve your targets, and you're trying to make sure that your employees are happy in the system also, which is one of your duties. Thirdly, please, I feel in a lot of companies, employees are made to do a lot of learning programs, which has no value. So when we say upskilling, reskilling, please just don't go onto a portal and start consuming content for no reason. Have your clear objectives and goals, let's say at the end of the year. And also for the HR folks, similar things for your employees and level wise, so that they don't think they wasted time, and they don't think that, I was already working 10 hours today. You just added 1 more hour in my schedule. Make it fun. And I think the reason learning, till the time learning is fun, we want to do it. It is not fun, we don't want to do it. And I'm coming from a person, I am creating online content. And I say that thing to my own team when they build bad content, that I don't want to do this, you're boring me. right? So the more functional content you can bring into the picture and the better researched you are as an HR folk with your data and data analytics, jo bhi karna whoever wanted to do, please go ahead and do.
Sure.
So yeah, that's what I would like to emphasize on. I think there's a question.
Absolutely. So, that's an interesting question there. It says, can GPT replace recruitment?
I have no clue. I would be happy to see that though. Then it means, we need to really buckle up. We don't have much time left in our hands before we are robots ourselves. I kind of think not possible because when we are also in recruitment, right? People are doing assessments also. There is a person who goes through that report. And there's a person who still sees that report and decide, okay, this system has selected this person, I still want to interview. So that assessment has also only killed one step, made the recruitment easy for that person. But he's still meeting that person before employing. So even ChatGPT can help you maybe, what do you say, take out the lot, which is best for your company, but you require a person who says, yeah, I feel confident about this person on the behavioral test. Because that's extremely important, what you're adding into your team, which I think maybe, another 5 or 10 years, maybe they'll build that also. But as of now, it is not there.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. So, customized learning paths, I guess that can be for different competency levels. So, adding on to that particular question was, you mentioned that HR can upskill as a trainee manager in the company. So is this a possibility even if the HR is not a technical person?
I said what? Sorry, HR can upskill as a trainee manager.
Yeah, trainee manager.
Trainee manager. I said you can pick up as a career of a trainer. But HR can upskill to whatever roles they have, and you can, I would say, have a discussion with your manager also.
Right.
So I would say 2 discussions are required. One is with your manager and one is with your HR. That what is the career pathing for me? So when your KPIs are being set, right, your key performance index or KRAs, whichever is more relevant term to you guys, you should have that communication very clear with your HR folk and your manager immediate, so that whatever amount of work you're going to put in learning or invest, like if it's costing you a lot, it should have a ROI on what you're doing. So that's extremely important.
100%. So another question, I guess, was related to, customized learning, recruitment, and then CHRM and CHRP certification. So do you think those kind of certifications definitely add an impact or a value to the current topic that we've discussed on?
It does, if it is internationally acclaimed generally. Now that can differ from company to company. If I am going into a company which says I want only CIPD, as said, it's a thing, people, then they want that certification in my name.
Right.
But if it is not relevant where I'm current company working right now, it's not. But if you want it and you think you're going to learn so much from the learning material, then you should go ahead. But for example, there are some people who are hired on, are you Six Sigma certified or not? Green belt, blue belt. That is good. Get it done. If you have that money, if you have that time, please utilize it. Because that knowledge will not be wasted, because they are very relevant in the industry.
Absolutely. Well, let me also check if there are any other questions. I don't think there are any other questions as such. So I don't like saying that, but then, thank you so much, Divya. I guess it was absolutely a pleasure having you today. I guess, it's the second time, but we couldn't want to wait for the third time again for you to have with another, power pack topic. It was indeed a power pack session.
Thank you so much. I thoroughly enjoyed. Would be happy to be there the third time also. I hope people can take home good amount of knowledge here and use it too.
Absolutely. Another pleasure hosting you today. I don't know if that's a question, but then everyone's just pouring in their thank yous and as well. So I just don't think that there is any other question as such. But thank you, participants, for being amazing as well. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Divya. It was indeed a pleasure hosting you again.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Absolutely. Well, we had an action-packed session and a power-packed session without much ado. But then here's what you guys have been waiting for again, another segment where we talk about freshers hiring where we saw remarkable growth as well. Let me just, emphasize on that as well a bit. So you can also see, how we've been able to see growth and penetration in the market too. Let me just, put that slide up again for all of you guys here. And it'll be, amazing if you can also look at the numbers, hiring outlook. Freshers look optimistic, but then employers are eager to hire freshers for their enthusiasm, flexibility, and fresh perspective. Well, February 23 observed close to 42,000 active jobs for freshers, where startups definitely contributed to 14% of jobs. Well, this information is brought to you by Foundit's Insight Tracker, and this is on the Indian side as well. Well, we look forward to also coming up with more information on that too. So I'll just put up that slide for another couple of seconds before we move on. Please do take the feedback posters, and the recording will definitely be available. Thank you so much. Please ensure that you also take the poll, which will help us serve better. Thank you so much, all of you guys, for joining. And this is Noel signing off. Thank you so much. Until we look at next time,